Today, Beige isn't here. Does that make him more or less dangerous? This is ChillPoint. The main sound was turned down a little bit. That was kind of a quiet intro. Sorry.
I mean, you don't want to let Beach know that he's missing. He will come find you.
That's true. Yeah. It's the moment you can't see Beige is when he's most dangerous.
It is true.
At least when you can see him, you know
where he is.
At least when you can see him, you know he's in front of you.
But never make eye contact. That's how the beach drop happens.
It's true. It's true.
Or at least one of them. There's several different variations of beach drop, and you don't want the direct eye contact one.
Tracalio, are you actually in the Princess Auto home office right now? That's amazing. Hey everybody, welcome to ChillPoint, show where we talk about the week's video game news and also about the episode of CheckPoint that went up yesterday, which was with Graham and Kathleen. He's just fine, by the way. He's just out of town.
Yep. I will confirm he went to a Princess Auto while out of town.
That's not where he's not like.
That's not why he went out of town, but
he's not like staying over for a week at Princess Auto or anything.
Not
like
that I know of.
I mean, they probably have like tents and stuff there.
Oh sure. But he's fine. Everything's fine. We know exactly his location, so he can't beach drop in. And
there's a whole iPhone app just for tracking Beige's location. Find My Friends is also there. That's a different app though. There's a specific Find My Beige app that you probably don't know about. It's not like in the App Store. It's a secret download you have to get.
The beach pack starts with Princess Auto. Yes, that's how we convince him to go to PAX most times. We tell him it's the Princess Auto Expo, and when he shows up, he gets we distract him with store.loadingreadyrun.com merch, and then he forgets that we lied to him.
Yeah, he keeps falling for it every year too. This week's episode of CheckPoint was it was just Graham and Kathleen, and obviously we didn't have an episode last week, which meant that a couple of stories this week were sort of grandfathered in the sense that they were things that Graham
we already talked about, so we beat them to the punch.
There were things Graham and Kathleen wanted to talk about, and they're perfectly good to talk about. Yeah, it's not like they stopped being news. And I mean, we mentioned that Graham would probably have something to say about the ABK thing, so I'm glad that he got a chance to put that in. So yeah, and then Kathleen, I like what I find really interesting is, of course I mark stories and come up, and usually when I mark a story or put a story in, I have like an idea of like what could be a funny thing about it. But I sometimes I don't necessarily like that's not like locked in, right? And so like Kathleen did the story about Peridot, the Niantic thing, which my take on that was, look at this thing that is probably an NFT, but actually isn't. Yay! It's like, because as I was reading the story about it, I was like, oh, when is this going to say NFTs? These are definitely, procedurally generated, unique things. These are definitely, and they weren't. Whereas Kathleen was coming at it from the like breeding different animals angle, and we actually just before recording, she got me to grabbed that picture of a pug and put it in. That wasn't I didn't actually originally have that picture, and she was like, "Ooh, can we get a picture of a pug to put in for the nose too short to breathe?"
It's a good ad for that part. Because that's what pugs were bred for. Well, pugs were bred to look a certain way, and then this was the result. This is why selective breeding can be weird and bad in certain ways. Humans ruin things, just like NFTs.
And Heather added the little keyboard tappy tappy.
I did Foley of yeah.
Which I love. We were like, Heather, could we maybe add some like keyboard noise in here to make it sound as if I'm changing the document back. Sorry to ruin the magic for you, but I didn't actually have to change the document there. And there's a built-in like typing noise thing
for a typewriter
in Final Cut, but it's for a typewriter.
And you can tell. Well, okay, I can tell it's for a typewriter because I like typewriters and not a proper keyboard. So I came in here. I will say I forgot to turn off. I should have turned off everything on the soundboard and just had the mic running, because I came in here and I did a local recording of just like tapping on the keys with the mic turned all the way up, and then I did a thing to get rid of some room noise. But people were subscribing during that point, and so as I went through the video file, it's like, oh, this part's perfect. Oh shoot, okay, I can't use that one. I forgot. I was
so
also
annoying.
wearing the headphones because I was like, I don't need those on, so I didn't know there were other noises that could be.
So annoying. People
subscribing when there's no stream on.
It's just,
Good for you.
That's happened a few times, like when I'm doing my like when I'm doing like the play it forward stuff from home, and I'll like start singing a song, and after the first couple times I had to make sure that that's because people will subscribe like at the very beginning of the stream and like interrupt my song, and I'm like, hey, stop giving us money right now. You can give it other times, but right now it's very disruptive.
The best sub thing I've seen happen was my favorite. We were playing a game, Beej and I don't remember what game it was, but we had to look at the XSplit to play it, and he was doing this speed thing very fast, but when the sub came in, it blocked part of the screen that we could see, and he only had so much time, so I kept trying to get people to sub so that he couldn't see properly.
Oh, the trolling.
That was a while ago.
I love it. Oh yeah, Matt's talked about that before. Is that because when he has like a work meeting, he by mistake was using like the OBS file of his like his stream thing, and so like a sub popped in the middle of his work meeting. Anyway, so yes, the Niantic Paradots thing should be cool. I'll be interested to see when it comes out, what it actually whether it seems something that I'm interested to see, like with Pokemon Go and the Pikmin one and this now. I feel like the audience for all of those things is like has a lot of overlap. Like it seems like Niantic is kind of like cannibalizing their own audience with their different games. Like it doesn't seem like it's bringing.
Well, so
I mean, maybe it's a different mentality for the
Pikmin Bloom is just a fancy pedometer.
Right.
You can, and the way I typically play it is I have it basically just running for when I'm walking, but I don't have the screen running. I could be playing Pokemon Go at the same time while that's going on. But I don't really. That's why I prefer Pikmin Bloom, because I don't like having the phone out as I'm walking along doing all that stuff. But Pokemon has a thing where you can select one of the Pokemons to be your buddy, and you can have them walking around on the map with you and doing certain things. And I feel like they took part of that section for this as well.
Like, I wonder if you could, if people are going to be like, I got my little Pikmins with me, I got my Pokemon with me, and I got my Peridot with me, and we're like
Yeah.
all these different games are all happening because theoretically the Pokemon stops and the Pikmin
Oh yeah,
flowers,
they're going to
and
use the
they're
same
all
map
they're all
data.
the same things, right? So it's
Niantic is known for making games about walking. They all use the same map data, and of course they do. Why would you make new map data? You already own it.
right, exactly.
And they might not care about cannibalizing Pokemon Bloom, Pikmin Bloom, and Pokemon Go, because I mean, surely they make money off of that, but they probably also have to pay a licensing fee for that. Ingress was like their big thing, but I don't think it's taken a hold in the same way. So they might be trying to come up with their own property where they can have the whole thing.
Right, and for the Peridot thing, nobody can tell them, how many whatever little DLC outfits for your Peridot they can make, right? They don't have to coordinate with Nintendo to make a special whatever Christmas Pikachu. They can just we're gonna make a whole ton of little outfits for you, and they all cost $1 or whatever. All right. So yeah. So there's this whole the ABK Activision Blizzard thing. Graham covered it
In very good detail.
The two aspects of it is this. It's sort of the yin and the yang. The good. It's like yay. A bunch of part-time temporary workers are moving to full-time positions. Excellent. That's really good. And then the whole bizarre interference in the court case story, which
Yeah. I mean, so the job thing is no, of course we're not picking on the people who said that they want to form a union. We're going to blame the fact that they tried to make a union as why we can't give them the things, and it's their fault, and unions are bad. And that's what they're trying to do with that.
Well, there's this weird. So there's a thing they're talking about where it's like you can't, for good, and it makes sense that while a thing is under, under consideration by the Labor Relations Board, you can't give them more benefits, right? Because you can't, because that's bad, right? If you which makes sense. You can't be like, you guys formed a union and voted for it, but obviously being but now we're gonna give you some stuff, so you don't need to be union. That's sort of a union busting thing. But on the other hand, giving it to everybody else and not those people is also bad.
It's a thing that's very much oh, okay, well, it's not like we would have totally given you a thing, but we can't, and you just shouldn't have chosen the union thing. Which, at the same time, though, unions can argue for back pay,
right?
So they will probably do that.
And it's I think you probably could have figured out how to make that work if you really wanted to have made it work. But anyway, apparently, Graham did just actually send a.
Right, there was an update to this as well.
Send an update, which. So this was the Raven the Raven software QA workers voted to unionize, and then the Labor Relations Board, but because ABK didn't recognize it, it then goes to the Labor Relations Board, and the Labor Relations Board has now ruled that it was a valid union vote.
Yeah.
So I don't think that actually has now means that, I think there's still more steps to go through. But
probably, I imagine there's a lot of paperwork involved in these things. I don't know how to form a union particularly, but I assume there's a lot of steps to it.
Yeah, and there's a big difference legally. There's a difference between a bunch of a bunch of employees engaging in collective action and an actual legally recognized union. There's various protections that they get and stuff. So it's good to have, and hopefully it will. Hopefully that they will not only be successful, but then also, you know, as Graham was saying, they they get the appropriate. I mean, when they are a union, they will have hopefully the negotiating power to get the appropriate thing for, so that they are brought in as part of this thing or better.
Yeah, and we'll probably see how that ends up shaking out. It'll probably still take some more time, as will likely the whole ABK thing with the lawyers and the weirdness of people getting involved. And
yeah, I'm terrified that the Department of Fair Employment, like the Department of Fair Employment and Housing, that lawsuit is going to, have some sort of unforced error thing where it's because of various negotiations and backroom dealings or just poor handling and different agencies stepping on each other's toes. It's all going to fall apart.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to try and use that to their advantage, if they can, ABK. But we'll just have to see how that shakes out. It does kind of feel like something that's going to take way longer than you want it to.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be the other thing, is like it's going to be like 10 years, and then it's like, congratulations, we finally succeeded. Everybody who was involved in this lawsuit gets $10. It's like one of those sort of, there's so many people involved, and it's such a ridiculous thing. But anyway, big trees.
Trees are big.
Trees are big. In fact, the one in Elden Ring, which I didn't see anybody confused about it, so that's good. I was realizing after we actually recorded this episode that Kathleen doesn't actually say this is the tree in Elden Ring at any point, but hopefully that's pretty clear.
I think the people can infer that. I think it might have been.
There's some pictures of the tree, but
of Elden Ring stuff, and
I was the biggest trick with this story from my perspective. I was trying to figure out how to illustrate a tree measured in Lady Dimitrescu units. But of course, it's so many. It's like 1,500.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't do an accurate representation.
So it was like I did like at the line, and then I was like zoom into the line, and you see it's Lady Dimitrescu's up and down. That was what I was trying to illustrate with the picture. Yes, Lady Dimitrescu units. I like that, LDUs.
Yeah, I think it's very important that given that the YouTuber Zuli the Witch went through that effort to find real world measurements, that we take other real world measurements that people have made up and put it in there. It seems like the appropriate video game thing to do. Also, good job, Zuli.
Yeah, I guess it was
that's not a thing I would have done, but I do think it's really cool that somebody did it.
Yeah, I'd be interested. I mean, it's like comparing it to different like objects that we know the size of in the world and doing it. So, anyway, it's a really big tree. Is essentially the takeaway.
And this is how math becomes important in the real world. Sort of. Yep.
And then the Dark Souls tabletop RPG.
This is where your English classes are going to start making.
Yeah, had some issues. And I've got a little bit of sympathy. Like RPG, like it's a book like that is like it's tough, right? I mean, it's a big book. There's a lot of stuff to go through, a lot of editing.
Oh yeah. I mean, errors happen. Spelling mistakes. I'm like, sure, okay, happens.
But just because it's hard doesn't, means that you should spend more effort on it. Not that you shouldn't do it.
Them accidentally interchangeably using something like armor with an OU spelling or just the O spelling.
I guess
it's still readable, right?
That's
It's
probably
still,
like subcontractors, from different places, probably using different
but
things.
it's still like a readable thing, right? You can still get there. But we get into things like we'll explain this thing later in the chapter, and then we don't put it in the book. That is probably a little harder to get around.
I was hoping there would be like a little box somewhere that's like, Dave, please put in crit notice here.
I feel like that would be far more embarrassing.
I mean, it's obviously using your using your early adopters as your proofreading isn't a great idea unless that's like part of it. Like I've seen, we played Root on Wednesday with the underground expansion, and the Root developers are have a very open development process. So like they did a Kickstarter for the Root thing, and they did a print and play version of the new factions.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's like, so like you, anybody, not people who are even supporting the Kickstarter, can go. There's like a Google folder that has that has all the stuff to print and play, and there's like 10 versions of some of the some of the factions as they've worked them out over time with feedback and play testing and all this stuff. And so when you're doing that sort of explicitly as part of the deal and bringing in, as sort of a early access thing, then it's a little different to actually being like, we spent, also sucked for them to have spent however many tens of thousands of dollars to print these really nice books.
And they're going to have to print them again.
Yeah.
Because they said they would. Which is good. I will give them credit for being like, we will fix that and we will reprint them and give them out. It sounds like they've only released it. It kind of sounded like they had only released it in the one region. That doesn't mean that the books were only printed for the one region, though. And this is a costly
When I was
mistake.
I didn't get a chance to actually look at them, but like when I was looking for screenshots and videos and stuff for this story, I saw on YouTube that there's a couple of people who have done like real play, videos of the Dark Souls RPG. So I'd be curious to know how those sessions went, whether they had like an errata guide or something that they could refer to.
Remember hearing on a podcast someone saying they got to be part of an experience that someone else was running, and the problem with that is if they're running off of like what they already know, they don't have to be checking the book.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's very easy for that to be missed in that context.
Or yeah, if they have somebody who's actually like was involved in the creation of it. And then was a bunch of patch updates for Elden Ring, not just, and like Heather was saying, it's like not just like bug fixes, but actually like a ton of rebalancing.
Yeah, which I
Which-
still think is odd.
Which just seemed weird for like what is primarily a single player game.
I just so, to me it feels like
It's like if you
it'd be one thing if there was like something's wonky with animation, so we fixed it or whatever. But we rebalanced everything. I just feel like they looked at a thing, they went, "Oh, this YouTuber figured out how to do a thing we don't want them to do. Time to take it out."
it'd be like if like back in the day, like Mario 64. It's like, oh, we figured out that it's like Mario jumps a little bit too far when he's doing the long jump, so we released a patch to make him jump a little shorter. And it's like, but I was doing a cool thing with that. It seems like it's like you've got like a cool build and it's like, yay, this is working, and it's like maybe it's super powerful, but that's how you figured out a cool build that's super powerful.
I've never heard so many conversations about a game that involve oh, I finished this before they nerfed that.
Mm.
So I'm gonna play it
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
but with a different build because they nerfed the thing that I was using.
And I did see in the comments, people wanted to assure Graham that Unga Bunga is still viable, and in fact got a little bit of a buff because colossal sized weapons apparently got faster. So never fear, if the physical build is what you wanted to do, you're not totally out of luck.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that was just there as a joke, more than this doesn't work this way, or however it is. I don't know. I haven't played Elden Ring.
It's basically like Kirby, but you know.
My understanding is it's basically Animal Crossing, but boss fights are involved.
Mm.
So you get to fight instead of having to pay your rent.
I feel like there's a few people would like, if that was an option in Animal Crossing. I feel like maybe a few people would go for that.
Tom Nook is the nicest person.
The nicest landlord.
Well, okay, maybe not so much in the first game. He's a little naggy, but later, he doesn't care if you give him money. You just never get a bigger house.
Hmm. I mean, that's very understanding. And then the whole Hasbro, well, Wizards of the Coast via Hasbro has bought D&D Beyond, which is the universal reaction across the internet is,
I thought they owned it already.
yeah, wait, Wizards of the Coast doesn't own D&D Beyond? Huh. I saw like Penny Arcade did a comic on that. Like, I've seen it all over like Twitter and Reddit, and everybody's like, wait, what?
They licensed it, didn't they?
D&D Beyond licensed the D&D stuff,
Yeah.
and then created the thing. So I mean, ostensibly this is all good. The D&D Beyond people now don't have to pay for the license because they are there, and you know, Wizards have said that they're going to lead them and let them do their thing. And then, you know, they have all sorts of ideas for bigger and better things they can do. Who knows what will actually happen with it?
Always hard to say. I mean, also when a company says we're going to leave them alone, that should always be taken with a grain of salt, because it's not like they're lying about that necessarily. But that is kind of a, for now, we don't have any intention of doing anything with them. They seem to be doing fine. That doesn't mean later on that company might not be like, okay, we've changed our minds on that.
Circumstances can change.
We can do that.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But, you know, maybe there's a chance for, you know, new cool synergies between.
As long as they don't call it a metaverse, I'm fine with it. I don't want to hear about the D&D metaverse.
The D&D metaverse? I mean, D&D just has a multiverse.
That's
like,
fine.
They've had a multiverse
I don't
for
mind
years.
Multiverse. That's fine. They can keep that.
Tell
me about some other news stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about some other stuff. So, because Graham and Kathleen did some stories from the week before, there's quite a few stories here that we didn't talk about. Starting with make some crazy money. Crazy Taxi is apparently gonna get a AAA reboot.
Okay, but the real important one is Jet Set Radio getting that reboot, right?
Okay, that too.
I mean, for certain people, I know.
A big budget reboot of. So, I remember Crazy Taxi primarily as the game that came out on every single platform.
Wasn't it an arcade game?
Like it was, you know, originally an arcade, but it came out on like everything. Had a version of Crazy Taxi.
So it's the Skyrim of the 90s?
Yeah.
Whenever it came out, I don't know.
I mean, it was.
I mostly remember seeing the arcade game.
Yeah. And you know, Jet Set Radio slash Jet Grind Radio was super cool as well. The projects are part of what they're calling their Super Game Initiative,
Okay.
which is something that Sega unveiled in 2021.
Is that just a fancy way of saying we intend to do ports of older games?
Well, what I love is that the banner thing for the Super Game. It's like Sega's Super Game Initiative is the company's strategy to develop new and innovative titles, which big budget remakes of things you've already made. It's not what I would call a new and innovative title.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good.
I mean, I'm not against it. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't label it that way. It's
yeah.
true.
With a focus on global reach, online interactivity, community building, and IP utilization.
Oh, you're gonna do a remake, but it's gonna have the internet on it.
Yeah.
That sounded weird. It's gonna have online capabilities.
Hopefully not NFTs, but maybe NFTs. Maybe that's the crazy part of Crazy Taxi.
If they have not said that they're going to work on NFTs, they're definitely probably R&Ding that.
Non-fungible taxis.
Can I have a fungible taxi? Is that like a taxi mushroom?
It'd be like if all taxis were completely which is kind of true actually. Taxis, in a lot of cities, taxis are basically fungible. As in, one taxi is basically the same as any other.
Oh, I was waiting for you to tell me about these mushroom taxis that existed.
No,
I've not seen
that would be
these.
fungible, or like fungi. These are fungible, as in they are basically interchangeable.
Yeah, mushrooms are interchangeable.
Although you can't with the non-fungible part of taxis though is you can't like combine two taxis together into one larger taxi.
That's called a bus.
Yeah. You can get taxi buses, but a taxi bus is not two taxis pushed together.
I think if you squash two taxis together fast enough, you get a hearse.
It's true. We gotta get like a stretch taxi, a thing where you just like cut the middle out of a taxi and stretch it and put more taxi bits inside.
Okay. I mean, the article did say that maybe they'd bring back Space Channel 5, and I'm okay with that. So.
Oh, I remember you guys played that quite a lot on.
Yes, it's not a game with many save points. It's also very hard.
But like that was one of the big, like games that Ian wanted to get the Dreamcast running for, right?
Yes, because Ian really loves the Dreamcast. Ian really loves the Dreamcast. I think it's neat. There's some neat stuff about its controller. I don't like touching it, though.
Ian loves the Dreamcast. I think it's fine.
No. I say neat in a fun, condescending way. It's why Jacob loves it when I say I think his stuff is neat.
Speaking of neat things, World of Warcraft's Blizzard has started revealing stuff about the new WoW expansion, which is
they're
called
still making that, huh?
Dragonflight.
So the dragons can fly now?
Which I think they could before. Like, it's not like there weren't dragons in the game before. Dragons were like a big part of the game before.
So.
Yeah. But yeah. So this is going to be the it's going to open up a new area called the Dragon Isles, I think. Not very creative name. I don't know. I don't know if the dragons named the Dragon Isles, but
probably not. I feel like that might not be what they call it. That might be what we call it.
Yeah, the dragons are probably just like isles. They're just islands.
Just hang out at the Isles.
Yeah, we just call it the place where we live.
We don't call it dragon food, we just call it food.
One of the big things that they're doing is there's a new character class that they're adding.
Is it dragon class? Do you get to be a dragon?
Well, I don't know if you get to be like a dragon. You get to be a Drakthir shape-shifting dragons with draconic and humanoid forms.
Okay, so like sometimes dragon.
Yeah.
Okay,
I feel
no,
like
I'm more on
it's
board
one
with
of,
that.
it's one of those things though that like, in bad guys and in cutscenes, right? Like they're super cool, but like when you get to play it, it's like you get like the super nerfed version of it.
Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, they're like dragon human-y things. And there's also a new character class, the Evoker, which
Is that just someone who pokes things? Sounds like someone who takes a poker to things.
Evoker, not poker.
How do you suggest we evoke things? I poke them a lot. It evokes so many emotions out of people.
The Evoker can only be played. The Dragon Thier are the only classes that can be, or the only races that can be Evokers, and Evokers are the only classes that Dragon Thier can be.
That seems a little.
I get one way, but the other way, like it seems like you could have Dragon Thier rogues and fighters.
I feel like they should have more employment options than that.
Yeah.
Oh well, you're that if you have to be this. Okay, but what if I wanted to be the first dragon rogue?
Like, I just want to be a chef. It's like
rogues are sneakier than dragons can be. I could be a sneaky dragon.
So anyway, and there's two variations on the Evoker class. There's Devastation or Preservation. So, healer or blowy up person.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that definitely go around calling healers preservationists,
and they can be both alliance or horde, and they're like a high level, like they start at like level 65 or something. So anyway, Dragonflight is going to be coming out sometime that they haven't really said yet.
Yeah, I mean, there was a thing earlier in this article that said they were doing a live stream. They did a live stream.
They did a live stream where they announced all this.
Yeah, so we basically initial announcement, probably later date for more hype.
Yeah.
That's pretty standard as a PR thing. I'm disappointed in this thing that I will never play and forget about in the next 5 minutes.
Speaking of other things that you might not play, or maybe you will.
Who knows?
There's been there was a leak of two emulators for the Switch, which is not so two emulators that run on the Switch, which is not in itself that exciting, except by looking at the source code and stuff, people have figured out that these are actually made by Nintendo.
Oh, so official emulators.
Well, they're not official yet in the sense that they were leaked. But
wow.
But this is confirmation that Nintendo has, at least internally, emulators for Game Boy and Game Boy Advance.
Right. The thing that has been rumored forever is potentially actually happening.
Which means that theoretically, they will be turning into, that the Nintendo Switch Online stuff will be Game Boy and Game Boy Advance.
The Game Boy games on NSO has been a rumor since before they launched the Nintendo 64 stuff, to the point that when they actually launched the Nintendo 64 stuff, it confused a bunch of people who were waiting for the Game Boy stuff. So, I mean, I hope so, I guess. Do you think they put this in the expansion pass or in, like, the base thing?
Probably expansion, knowing Nintendo. Like,
I mean,
there are other like, because the N64 games are the expansion, right?
Yes. So is DLC stuff. I believe they've added the Splatoon 2 Octo expansion, which is an older piece of DLC. I think has been added as well recently. So I could kind of see if they wanted to push. I think it's going to depend on where they think the value of this lies.
The other big takeaway from this is one, the leak came from Nintendo's European Research and Development Division, which goes by the acronym NERD, which is awesome.
I did not know that. That is amazing. Good job, Europe.
And the other thing is the code names for these two emulators are apparently Hiroko for the Game Boy and Sloop for the GBA.
Sloop.
Which is a great name for an emulator. Sloop. Went on the Sloop GBA, my grandfather and May. Anyway. So anyway.
All right.
These are it's one of these, like, of course now, like, the next time there's going to be a next time there's a Nintendo event, people will be like, where's the GBA games? We were promised GBA games.
Yeah.
They have the emulator.
There's a comic I saw last E3 that was like people going into the whatever conference, doesn't matter whose conference, being like, yay, they're going to tell me new things, and then coming out and being mad that they only told them things that had been rumored.
Yeah.
As if...
It's like, those were new things that we already knew were going to happen, because we guessed it.
Yeah, so... But I mean, this is why I turn the comments off every time I watch a Nintendo Direct, because it's generally people yelling for Mother 3, Silk Song, and then whatever other big thing is rumored. So it'll be Game Boy Advance
Breath
stuff.
of the Wild 2 or whatever. Yeah.
They might not yell about that now, given that got delayed officially to spring. They'll probably yell about that closer to September.
Now, Graham and Kathleen did talk about this in the outro, at the after show bit of the Checkpoint.
Yes.
I don't know, did it make it into the...
Yes, it did.
I mean, yeah. That Snoop Dogg is in Call of Duty, which I think we talked about...
We talked about last week.
It's coming in, yeah. But now, well, we talked about this
we didn't know
a couple
all
of
the
weeks...
things,
We talked about this a couple of weeks ago when it was announced.
Yeah.
Now it's actually out. And as Graham and Kathleen were saying, it's all we joke. And it's important to point out here that this is not Snoop Dogg doing a voice for a Call of Duty operator, which he's done before. There was a previous operator that had like a voice pack. Snoop Dogg doing a voice pack. That is not this. This is Snoop Dogg, the actual guy, modeled and in the Call of Duty Black Ops and Call of Duty Vanguard and Call of Duty Warzone, which just seems so weird to me. It's like the man is an amazing rapper and a genius, but not the person I would want to have on my team in like a firefight, I don't think, when the other options are like actual, professional soldiers.
I mean, you'd never get me into a position where I'd be in the middle of a firefight.
I mean, I wouldn't want to have me on my team either. So
yeah, Paul, really, when we're in the schoolyard and they're picking out who's going to be on their team for the firefight, Snoop Dogg's getting picked before both of us. We're definitely in the last.
But anyway, and so yeah, he's got all his things are weed jokes. He's let's see all this stuff here. He's got the assault rifle. So he has a blueprint called the Bong Ripper sniper rifle, a weed covered gun with nugs in the magazine, an assault rifle called the West Coast Bling, SMG called the Shiznit. Every weapon comes with green weed tracer rounds, and their muzzle flashes are like pot leaves. Really hitting that pretty hard.
Now, if you're one of those people who watches CheckPoint but then doesn't watch the after show, I don't know if anyone like that actually exists, but if you are, I encourage you to go back to the CheckPoint episode and watch the after show, because then you can watch Kathleen dance around and say weed every day or whatever it was she did. It was very good. And
Also,
if you've already seen it, maybe go watch it again later after this is over.
also, his finishing move is called Fishnizzle Movizzle.
I mean, I guess good job with the theming.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone there. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't have thought of Snoop Dogg, but I also am never going to play a Call of Duty game, so I will never be weed-tastic.
Well,
At least in that way. With bong rippers.
this is just a cool little thing. It's not an actual game, but an animation that somebody made of, here, I can probably throw it up on the screen because it's pretty amazing. They call it Advance Effect Legendary Edition, which is an interpretation of Mass Effect as a GBA game, based on like Advance Wars, and it's pretty awesome.
Okay, cool.
And it's like kind of plausible that like it could work.
I mean, they've chosen some good pixel art.
Oh yeah.
Why is James in this game?
And then there's like the little like thing coming out. Ah, it's so good.
Yeah, you know, I haven't played Mass Effect, but now I'm into it. I'd play it this way.
So, anyway, like I said, this is not an actual game that anybody's made. This is just an animation, but it could be real.
I mean, if you don't think
Somebody get like Game Maker out, and you could totally make this thing.
You know, if you don't think someone's making a demake right now.
Yeah, coming soon to
Wait, it is Ashley.
coming soon to Itch.io near you. Oh wow. Ashley is very understanding. Anyway.
And this is why James had to change his name. That's
Anyway.
really cool.
Super cool. It's like a turn-based thing. Anyway.
I like a good SRPG? Tactics RPG? Ah, shoot, what's the...
TARPG?
I think it's SRPG. Yeah, strategy RPG.
Ah.
Is what people call them.
SRPG. In other actual games that do actually exist, remember, I don't know if anybody else has played it on stream, but James and I, when we were doing 18 Games and Counting, or no, I think it was when we were doing Games of Chance, we played the Jurassic Park game,
Yes.
like Park Builder game.
Mm-hmm.
This is not that,
Okay.
but there's a game coming out called Parkosaurus, which I think is objectively better than the Jurassic Park park building game, just because the dinosaur, it's like Jurassic Park, but the dinosaurs are adorable. And I'm just gonna go out on a limb here, but judging by the kinds of fences that this person is building, the like dinosaurs killing your patrons is probably less of a concern.
Oh my goodness, is this finally the Dino Tycoon?
You can make hats for them. They can wear hats. That's the thing that Jurassic Park was missing.
Gaming
Dinosaurs with
technology
hats.
has really improved since Team Fortress 2 showed everyone hats could be a thing.
Yeah. Jurassic Park, except the dinosaurs are adorable and can wear hats.
I do like you dinosaurs.
What more do you need?
It's, we need more of them in this world.
So that's called Parkosaurus. It's coming out on Switch.
I might actually have to look into that one. I really did like Dino Tycoon when that was in the computer lab.
There was an event a couple days ago, I guess on Tuesday, for the Quest 2. The Meta Quest. Because that's the name of the company now.
Oh.
Because it was Facebook.
Oh.
And the Quest
Well,
is
definitely
the Quest is
this information.
the the thing that was previously called the Oculus Rift, now called the Quest. Then was called the Oculus Quest, now just called the Quest. Because it's Meta. Anyway.
Right, okay.
They did an event where they
But when you say
released
it's
a bunch of
Meta,
stuff.
you're talking about the company Meta, not
Yeah.
that it's actually a Meta thing that they are talking about.
No, yeah. This is
Goodness.
why
This is why
complicated and
words.
confusing. Anyway, they show off a bunch of games. Some of the cool ones include a new Ghostbusters game
Okay.
where you could be you're in VR,
Busting
like
ghosts.
as one of the Ghostbusters, which seems like a great use for VR, to be honest. Like, it seems like a pretty solid, sweet thing. And also, the return, or the next game are by the people who did Boneworks, which is called Bone Lab.
Okay. Are there bones?
Bone Lab will revolve around a mix of parkour and physics-driven interactions with guns and melee weapons, only this time it will take place in a variety of fantasy-style levels, including new monsters like walking skeletons, which you can apparently grab with your hands and tear apart bone by bone.
I don't know if I want to do parkour in VR.
That,
I am.
yeah, that seems
I'm
like
sure
that
it
could
can
be
work.
real.
I'm just not sure if that just doesn't turn into a vomit simulator. By which I mean just vomiting.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not simulated.
No. It just sounds.
I mean, yeah, I'm assuming that they were working on that aspect because
I mean,
you know,
I would hope
ever
so.
since Mirror's Edge or whatever, you know, that's obviously wasn't even VR, and that caused people a lot of problems. I played Boneworks for 20 minutes and I felt sick for many hours.
Yeah, see, that's
I wonder
where
if
I
this
come
was-
down on certain VR games. Like I like Beat Saber and stuff because you
Well, you stay in the
stand in
spot,
one
yeah,
spot and you move your arms around and stuff, and it's like, yeah, this is cool. And I do think the idea of moving around in a first-person VR world is neat. Moving around quickly, especially quicker than I can possibly achieve in doing things I can impossibly achieve. While it sounds neat, it also sounds like a bad idea for my stomach.
I remember reading, this was many years ago when they were still when they were experimenting with different things about VR, and one of the things they figured out is in order to reduce motion sickness, like there's a bunch of things that you can do about like field of view and update rate on the once they got the point where the glasses can update a lot faster, it causes less motion sickness because there's less sort of lag between what you're seeing and as you move and stuff. But apparently one of the things that really helped was to give people noses. That like if your virtual character has a nose that you can see out of the corner of your eye, for some reason it makes people a lot less motion, like gives them something to sort of focus on, or just it sort of grounds them even if they're not like looking at it, which I just find very funny. Just like We've invented noses. Doop doop boop boop.
Oh no. This weirdness.
Sonic Origins
Uh-huh.
is. I feel like every week we're talking about Sonic, but it's a different Sonic game.
I mean, it's the anniversary, so they're doing a lot of stuff. But
Yeah, as we talked about,
that's cool.
They are, you know, they're not doing the Year of Luigi bullcrap. They're really hitting the Sonic hard on this one. So Sonic Origins is the remastered and enhanced collection of I think Sonic 1, 2, and 3.
And Knuckles.
Well,
because Sonic and Knuckles is
a different
a separate game. That's how you get Knuckles in the other
Sonic
ones.
1, 2, 3, and Knuckles. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Knuckles is involved in various versions of the other ones because it's weird. But it's gotten a little bit of press because of the ridiculousness of the various editions that it's coming out as. And we always love these things because it's goofy. So, which edition? It's the fact that the editions seem to be like dramatically different.
Well,
And not just in like stuff that you get with them,
there's
but like actually differences in the games. Like, so there's the standard edition, which costs $40.
That's the game.
That's just the game.
That's the game.
There's the digital deluxe version, which is $5 more.
Yes. Also, still includes the game.
And it has the game, extra hard missions, letterboxed backgrounds, character animation on the main menu, camera controls over the main menu islands, character animations during the music islands, and exclusive tracks from Genesis Mega Drive title. It's like character animation on the main like, why would that be a feature that they would add? It just seems so odd.
So when you do a feature list,
it's like the interactive menus on the back of a DVD.
Generally, you can say, you can write down anything. The character can jump, technically a feature of the game.
Yes.
People don't typically write that necessarily in like the PR write-up that goes out. This sounds like a feature list someone made, and they were like, well, here's some stuff we can do. Character animations, it'll be fun, we can do this. And somebody else went, all right, so when we divide up the different editions, which really there's kind of like two, because there's the standard edition, sure, the standard one with the starter pass, which is just DLC and some stuff added in, and then but when you get down to it, the ultimate deluxe whatever edition I think includes stuff from one of the other ones, so it technically has everything, I think. Or it's missing, like, we gave you some free coins.
Yeah, because there's also 3 content packs that are available like separately, which is the Start Dash pack, which gives you 100 medallion bonus, whatever that is. Mirror mode
is unlocked.
I
want to point out it says mirror mode unlocked, which to me says you're still
otherwise
getting mirror mode. You
gameplay.
Probably have to unlock it, because otherwise they wouldn't have to write the word unlocked.
And letterbox background, again, what? Seems like a weird feature.
To me, it just sounds like someone went, here's some stuff we can add to the game because we're redoing it. And someone else said, great, we'll put some of that in a different version.
But then there's the Premium Fun Pack, which has all the same things as the Digital Deluxe Pack. The hard missions, letterbox background, character animation, camera controls, character animations during music islands. And considering the Digital Deluxe Pack is $5 more than the regular pack, like, the Premium Fun Pack can't cost that much. It seems like an odd choice. I don't know.
I think it comes across as
Why
confusing
does it have
because
to be
they made a chart and they made what looks like a bunch of different editions. I think also they wrote coming soon on the chart.
And it's like, why is that coming soon? You clearly have all the stuff already.
Because the other parts say pre-order, and I'm like, I don't So is the coming soon meant to say you can't pre-order this version right now, but you will be able to later? Like there's some stuff in their graphic that could use some better labeling.
Yeah. Anyway. Apart from that, though, I mean, an updated versions of all the like original Sonic games actually sounds pretty awesome. And speaking of updated versions of things, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is going to be the spiritual successor to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade beat 'em up games back in the day. So it's all pixel. So by which I'm assuming they mean like the like Turtles in Time one, like that those style of ones. Which sounds pretty awesome. I had a lot of I have a lot of fond memories of that game. But they're going to be getting the voice talent from the 1987 animated TV show.
Oh, cool.
To do voice work on it. Not like there's been a whole. What I love about this is that there's been like a whole bunch of other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TV shows, including there's like a cartoon on now, isn't there? Like there's a current like CGI Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon.
Oh, right, yeah, I think so.
Or at least there was one recently.
The last one I paid attention to was that one where they blanked out the eyes in all white. That seemed kind of creepy.
Ended a year or two back.
I do think they've done something more recent than that.
So, but I love that there's like that there has been a bunch of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TV shows since that one. But that's those actors are not used. They're using the voice actors from the. It's like when they got the guy who did the original voice of Scrooge McDuck to do the voice acting for the re-release of the DuckTales video game. Super cool. Anyway,
I mean,
it's going to be coming out. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge be coming out on Nintendo and on Switch and PS4 and PS5 and
so basically
everything.
And there will be a date at some point, I suppose. There's no date in this current article that we're looking at.
This summer.
It's not a real date.
It's a range.
So is 2022. Don't count.
It's a smaller range than 2022.
It's not an exact date.
Also, as part of that previous Quest thing, the NFL game is working with Status Pro to make NFL Pro Era, which is a VR football game.
So,
which
as one of the players, you in helmet.
Lead your team to a Super Bowl, improve your QB skills by participating in drills, or play catch virtually with your friends in your favorite NFL stadium. So you're played from the quarterback position, which I feel like is going to involve a lot of like very close-up shots of large people running and smashing you in the face.
Yes.
You need to have, in order for verisimilitude, while you play this, you should get like your friend to be in the room and just like throw a pillow at your face at the right time for when you're about to get sacked by the other team.
Be played from the quarterback position only. I think that's a little too bad. I think this would be really interesting in different positions.
I guess there's probably
kind of way.
I mean, again, as you were talking about with the movement in VR is always tricky still. So I guess the idea is that like the quarterback doesn't. I mean, unless they're doing a run, maybe you don't do like a lot of running plays.
Okay,
maybe it's primarily like throwing.
The quarterback does the first running thing, but typically they run after they get rid of the ball.
I mean,
They
they
move.
can. Yeah, they can. But maybe this sounds like this is primarily like throwing because they talk about like you can do passing and stuff. The experience is so realistic, the fans will be blown away by the play action and truly feel like a professional athlete.
Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna get tackled.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Truly feel wavy hands.
You'll truly feel like a professional athlete that has no arms because you're just a pair of hands.
They had to give them all to Nintendo for the ARMS game.
Right, yeah.
See. So nobody in virtual space has arms anymore, especially from the first-person view. Only hands.
Mm.
Or maybe it's not that you don't have arms. It's just that you're playing as the Invisible Man, and so you're wearing gloves.
That's true. You have to wear gloves, otherwise it would be considered to be poor sportsmanship
because
nobody else can see you. Yeah, I guess like the Invisible Man could be playing on a football team and you would never know. Like they're entirely covered anyway.
Yeah.
Like an Invisible Man is like a hockey goalie would never show. Like literally, you can't see any part of their face.
Such a mystery. Such a superstar.
It's like, why does that guy never take off his hockey gear? Nobody has seen him without it on. Oh, and then finally, let's all have a good chuckle about.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah. I just saw what the basis was. I didn't see the part where I get to make fun of it.
We mentioned, I think it was a couple weeks ago. There's a game called Axie Infinity that had the biggest cryptocurrency. I think it's the biggest cryptocurrency fraud, or not fraud, but heist. I use heist in quotation marks because it's like not some sort of like Ocean's 11 kind of thing. It's they got the they got like the wallet password or ID and copied it, and they got like $250 million worth of stuff.
Right. It's like when people are like, "Oh, they figured out your password and they hacked your account."
Oh, 600 million. One of the biggest crypto heists in history. Yeah, it's not that impressive from a like heist point of view.
They would definitely not make a heist movie about this. Is what we're saying. Yeah. They wouldn't have been like, it would be very short and very undramatic.
So anyway, the game is called Axie Infinity, and it's sort of a Pokemon-y kind of game, as in like you have little monsters that you grow and fight and stuff. Except the monsters are represented by NFTs and various things are. And part of it is this sort of pyramid-y scheme thing. Inverted triangle. Inverted funnel.
You're trying to make it sound cute. It's like, it's a pyramid scheme.
Well, I'm saying pyramid-ish scheme because I don't know if there's technical definitions of pyramid scheme.
No,
anyway,
there's one person at the top who needs several other people at the bottom to sell to.
There's a process where people get other people to do work for them in the game to earn money, and then they pay them in money for the game. Like it's basically like, gold farming in like WoW or whatever, except it's actually like part of the game. And apparently a lot of it is propped up by extremely, extremely low payment, like labor rates in like the Philippines, and different, getting people to work for very, very little money and sort of exploiting people. So after this big heist thing happened, obviously that has made the players not be happy.
Yes.
And
specifically the one who had the money, fake money heisted, but also the others who might also get theirs heisted.
So what the problem they're running into is the people who are higher up in the pyramid are posting on various message boards and Twitter and stuff, and getting upset that their workforce and or their scholars, who are the names for the people who are working for you to do your stuff, are quitting. And so it's, was it? I had a fish farm and a plant farm and 10 scholars. They have almost all quit. My axes are worth 10% of what they cost me to breed. So basically, there's this the sort of Schadenfreude of watching these people, the people lower down, like it's kind of like a MLM, multi-level marketing thing, except because it's all in this like in-game cryptocurrency instead of actual money. The people lower down on the pyramid are sort of like, wait, we don't have to do that. Like we could just go and do other jobs. Like, this is not a very good job. We can just leave.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping us from being here. We're not invested in this process. Screw you guys. We're going home. Basically, there's other jobs that we could do that are also probably paying not very much, but maybe slightly more than this thing. And people are like, hey, wait, you can't leave. So anyway, let's enjoy that.
A bunch of people realize
a bunch of people who were trying to scam people with NFTs and exploit various working conditions are themselves being scammed and get out of money.
Here's the thing about most schemes. If they sound too good to be true, they probably are. You know enough that
if the word scheme is in it.
Well, I mean, that's a good indicator. But like, if you're good enough to look at a book on a shelf to see a person has written a book about how to get rich, and I'm not going to buy that book because that's not going to get me rich. Somebody else telling you, hey, I have a get rich quick thing, and it'll totally work. If that was true, why are they telling you?
Why did you
why
write?
Would
Why
they
did you
not
write?
hide that info
Why did
from
you write and sell this book rather than just getting rich yourself?
And the thing is, if you need some sort of pyramid thing going on or other multi-shaped level scheming thing, you need people to buy things from you so that you have the money.
Yeah.
They're not interested in helping you make the money.
So anyway, that is the video game stuff that I saw in the news. I'm trying to think if there's any other stuff that came up in the meantime, but not that I'm sure there is, but nothing.
There's a couple of things, but I don't remember them super offhand, and I think they're like small things that will probably become bigger things over time, so we'll maybe get to them later.
If it's important, we'll find out about it later. So thanks everybody for joining us, chatting about the Wrath of the Lich King Classic got announced as in other WoW news. So, which is, I mean, not a surprise because that was the plan. It's like, because they've got like the WoW Classic thing, which is like the original servers. And so the idea is that they're progressing the original server at the same rate as they did it originally.
Right, so you already have the roadmap by looking at their history.
Theoretically, yeah.
Ideally. Okay.
And then obviously, I guess at some point they have to do like the classic, start at the beginning again.
Didn't we come up with so there was like Coke, and then like Coke Classic. Didn't they come up with another name like Coke Shiny Sparkles Pants?
Well, there was new Coke and then Coke Classic.
Yeah, so maybe when they split off again, it'll just be New WoW.
Crystal WoW.
Yeah, Crystal WoW.
It's just all transparent.
That'd be kind of neat.
Coke 2.
The Cokening.
And Coke Zero. Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about what's coming up next on the stream. Because what's coming up next on the stream is the Friday Night Paper Fight, where we're doing the $20 LGS challenge. So Ben and Adam and Wheeler and Nelson went to our local game store, YJ, and our Yellow Jacket, and they are building decks. I think they like opened a booster pack and then had $20 to sort of complete a deck with the cards from the booster pack. And should be a lot of fun. We've got like a little pre-recorded segment that to go along with it of showing everybody doing their packs.
Yes, then, $20 Canadian is likely, as that is our currency here, which I guess is like $15 American.
Yeah. Although, so it's like I think what they ended up doing maybe. Is like 1 or 2 booster packs and then plus the $20. So the idea is like you get the booster packs to kind of give you a
little bit of an extra bump.
Yeah, well, and also the booster pack kind of gives you a focus for the day. It's like it gives you like a starting point. It's like what am I doing? A seed. Yeah, that's a good point. Good way of saying it. And then on Saturday,
I'm here.
Kirby, yay! From 10 a.m. to whenever she wants to stop, I guess.
Yeah,
there's nothing else going on.
It's pretty clear, so I might go longer.
It's all Kirby Day.
It was,
just paint the day pink.
I started today, and I've decided currently my favorite thing to swallow is stairs.
Does Kirby get like with the stair step in it?
It's so cute, Paul. Your superpower as stairs is to fall down on things and squash them flat.
Oh,
but then
so
also
good.
you get to move the stairs around, so it's just a very inconvenient way of basically moving a ladder.
I love it.
You could though.
Kirby, if you see basically the weekend, if you imagine Kirby mouthful mode just eating the weekend, that's what's happening here. Because Heather was on yesterday or this morning, and then tomorrow in the morning, and then also
on Sunday.
On Sunday,
also be there Sunday afternoon for Rhythm Cafe,
and then Rhythm Kirby. Wait, no, Rhythm Cafe, Groove Coaster YY Party.
Yeah.
YY Party.
Why? I want to point out it does actually have 4 exclamation marks in the title on the thing, and I made sure to get the correct amount of exclamation marks for James.
You have to make sure that you're the proper amount of excited about the party.
It's very important in an anime.
Why nobody ask what party? How party?
Where party? Oh no, maybe people ask where the party is.
And then Sunday evening, it is Team Fight Tactics on Is This Your Card? And then on Monday, Can't Draw Horses Club. Corey and friends will be drawing things. Maybe horses, maybe not.
Things that maybe resemble horses.
And then, on Monday evening, it's Glurp. We previously did Glurp.
We liked it.
And we liked it, so now we're going to do more Glurp.
I'm on this one too.
Drink more Glurp, except this time we're going to be doing it in person in the studio here.
With as many people as we could convince to show up that day.
So Graham won't have to like keep switching who's in control of the controller.
I think because that was done through the Steam thing. If there had only been 4 of us,
yeah,
we wouldn't have had to have done that, and that would have been a little smoother. And I only bring that up for anybody who's like, I want to play this online with my friends.
Yeah.
As long as there's only 4 of you, smoother experience.
Yeah. And then, on Tuesday we actually have a special, there's a magic...
It's not the Tuesday, I know.
Yeah, there's a magic...
That was not what it said when I checked this morning.
There's a magic event going on Tuesday. It's the Streamer Showdown. So James and Graham are both going to be streaming some new Campana.
All day.
James is going to start in the morning, and then Graham's going to take over. And then I think we're still going to be doing Let's Know in the evening. So
okay,
so just sort of a
big
chunk in the morning.
Not a 12-hour stream.
No.
But many hour stream.
Many hour. And then on Wednesday, Disco Elysium.
So they moved Talking Sim to Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Followed by Red Dragon Inn on AFK.
Oh, nice.
So art gambling.
I mean,
Also,
sometimes.
Where is this image? Oh, I see. That's the cover of the. I was like, I thought that looked like a pixel art thing, but yeah, Red Dragon Inn for some gambling. Let's thank the awesome people who subscribed during the stream. Starting with Jacob97.
Nice. Doc Lazai, 36 months. Happy birthday.
Peter 200LX for 67 months.
Timer Quack for the 2 years.
Ooh. Lady DCat for 10 months.
Chipton for 75 months.
Metric Furlong has been gifted a sub.
And all the Weasels also for 2 years. There's like 3 sub birthdays going on.
Ooh, and Gap Filler sneaking in to fill the gap at the end of the thing. And Pharaohbender with those 150 bits.
Excellent. Good timing, Gap Filler.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And stick around. We'll be back with Friday Night Paper Fight about an hour and a half. But until then, we will talk to y'all later.
Take care.